Hello and welcome to the next patch along video. In this video, I want to go over a simple technique where you can use a MIDI sequencer utilizing the MIDI to CV converters to add an accent or a variation using a hi-hat or probably really any module, but I'm going to demonstrate the technique on the hi-hat. So to set this up, I've set up each module, the bass drum, bass, snare drum, and hi-hat to MIDI tracks on the Electron Octatracks tracks 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 controls bass drum, 2 bass, and so on. The next thing that we are going to do, we're going to go to just another MIDI track. In this case, I'm using MIDI track 8, but you could use MIDI track 5, 6, anything, but just not one of the 1 through 4 that you've already used. So then for MIDI track 8, I am going to put a trig down, hold down the learn button on the MIDI to CV converter, and then hit play a few times. And that is just simply sending a MIDI note parameter, and the Pulsar will learn it automatically when you just press that button. So what does this allow us to do? I have already pre-patched a point from the 4th post on the MIDI to CV converter over to the filter cutoff on the hi-hat module. And we're going to just put a trig down on each one of the quarter beats and hit play. So we're here getting a nice consistent pulse at the 16 beats. So when we come over to our track 8, which is going to send MIDI note value over to MIDI to CV converter, and over here we can add an accent. And I find this is nice because I often want to get some variation in my patterns, particularly on the hi-hat, and now we have an option. So you can hear that it's kind of opening for a second the cutoff point on the high pass filter, and you can play with it and go in the reverse. I have all of the 16th beats triggering except for the offbeat. So let's hear how that sounds. Yeah, I mean, it sounds great. And you can vary it up however you want, of course. I've tried a few different experiments I want to talk about so that you don't necessarily need to waste your time trying. I tried experimenting. Right now, this is sending MIDI note value C3. And I tried experimenting with changing that note to see if you could get different timbres based on the note being changed. But when you change that, it actually just doesn't work. It no longer is listening specifically for the C note. I also tried using the CC control in the same way, but I just found that when I've connected a CC control to this pin, it actually just works identical to using that knob, and you get no variation despite the fact that it's on track 8. So in that case, you're triggering the voice, basically the trig pin, on track 4 with all of these. But then when you have the CC connected to this, your CC control of the cutoff filter is just using that knob. So and you lose that functionality. You don't get those accents. So I think you can just get some really nice, different flavors going on. That you really can't do, or at least that I haven't found a way to do in any other way. Now, of course, you can use the same technique where you use an independent MIDI track, just sending a note value, but connect it to a different pin, not the mod pin for the high pass filter. You can use it for a different voice, like maybe put it up here on the mod amount for the tune of the snare drum, go crazy. And you could get many. You have three more pins that you can experiment with. And so anyway, something I've been playing with lately that I found really fun. I hope that you guys got something out of this, something that you can experiment with. Shout out to Yuppie Bomb, shout out to SR Wilson. check out the new Discord SR has just created. Really fun community, swapping tips and tricks on Pulsar and other Soma gear. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you guys on the next one.